Please be seated. Welcome, everyone, to the class of 2010's Baccalaureate celebration. I'd like to thank you all for being here today and being a part of this ceremony. To me, Baccalaureate is a time to reflect. A time to reflect on all the memories, good and bad, that we have from the past 4 years of medical school. I, like most of my classmates, try to suppress those bad times, like the hours and hours of studying, the 4-hour-long tests, and those fabulous neurology lectures. But no matter how bad we felt the pressure of medical school get, we made it through it. Graduation week is finally here. The past 4 years of school have seemed to focus on this one special day, graduation day. Honestly, everything else has seemed like a blur. I am sure like most of you, have waited for this day for a long time. And at times, we have forgotten to take in the experience of medical school. 4 years of our lives devoted to this big achievement we'll be receiving Saturday is a large chunk of our lives. And if we just remember this one special day, we will forget what we have gone through to get here. So take time to remember those friendships and memories with our classmates that we have created. This, after all, may be the last time we will see these people that we're sitting next to. Just think for a moment. A lot has happened over these past 4 years, a lot more than just learning the art of medicine. Some have started families, and some have added new members to their family. Some married, and some gained lifelong friends. Unfortunately, some lost members of their families, and some lost friends as well. And as a class, we also lost a friend. We lost a classmate of ours, Teddy Brigham. The white rose placed up here symbolizes him being with us here today. And as this ceremony continues, remember, we are not here just to celebrate our graduation day, but to reflect on the memories we have created throughout medical school. Thank you all for being here, and thank you all for the memories.
Thank you, Nathan. Welcome, everyone. I'd like to welcome the graduates, family, and friends to this 2010 Baccalaureate ceremony. These next few days are the celebratory culmination of 4 years of dedication and hard work. While there may be hardships ahead as you begin your residencies, take time this week to enjoy where you are and what you have achieved. These successes also belong to those family and friends who provide each of you with support throughout the medical school. Medical school can be arduous at times, and it is the people we care about most who often sustain us through the difficult times and share with us each victory. As you prepare for residency, feel confident about your abilities and knowledge. The foundation you built while at KCUMB will take you far as you explore the boundaries of graduate medical education and contribute to the advancement of knowledge and research. You will also become healers. As you continue to work with patients, stay true to the tenets of osteopathic medicine: humane, holistic, and compassionate care. And never forget how your patient's spirituality will affect their ability to heal, both physically and mentally. As we reflect upon spiritual matters during this ceremony today, we share the understanding that we each come from different backgrounds and beliefs. So will your patients. While our osteopathic medical curriculum integrates the basic concepts of faith and the importance of tolerance and understanding, your ability to embrace your patients' cultures and beliefs will help you make a real difference as a physician. Ralph Waldo Emerson once said, "The foundation of a person are not in the matter, but in the spirit." In other words, we're the sum of our experience and beliefs. This holds true for physicians as well as patients. The truly gifted physicians are those who not only have the medical knowledge, but the ability to transform that knowledge into appropriate guidance for each unique individual we encounter. This is the true meaning of compassion, and something I hope you can take with you and realize often during a rewarding career in osteopathic medicine. Again, I want to congratulate each of you on your accomplishments.
I'd like to share with you a Pueblo Indian prayer. Let us pray to the one who holds us in the hollow of his hands, to the one who holds us in the curve of her arms, to the one whose flesh is the flesh of hills and hummingbirds and angleworms, whose skin is the color of an old black woman and a young white man, and the color of the leopard and the grizzly bear and the green grass snake, whose hair is like the aurora borealis, rainbows, nebulae, waterfalls, and a spider's web, whose eyes sometimes shine like the evening star, and then like fireflies, and then again like an open wound, whose touch is both the touch of life and the touch of death, and whose name is everyone's, but mostly mine. And what shall we pray? Let us say, thank you.
Good afternoon. Strangely, I'm sitting up here and I feel like I'm about to make a major path presentation in front of a very serious and strangely clad audience today. But I do want to say that, all joking aside, what a humbling and undeserved honor that I do consider it to address such an elite audience today. My colleagues, my classmates, my friends, our faculty, and our families. In the discussions I've had just over the last night and today, and talking about how we would express what's going on now, one word seems to come back, and that's surreal. That it's hard to believe that we're actually here, and that 4 years ago we started this process, and here we are today, but we are here. As we reflect on the individual and collective experiences that we've had over the past 4 years, one thing is certain, and that's that time has flown by. And we can pretty easily, with minimal effort, remember and reflect on those initial introductions we had as we first met each other. And then as we were treated to a bloodborne pathogens video and the subsequent fallout thereafter. We remember financial aid discussions just like today, where if we were smart, we chose just to hear numbers, and ignore the reality of actual values and postpone that for another time and place. We remember standing over in anatomy lab, standing over our tanks and just awaiting to have bags opened and wondering if we're going to be the one who passes out and what's going to be looking at us and what we're going to be doing. And thankfully, we were working on muscles of the back, so we were greeted with a back. We also remember standing with our classmates' hands and our heads in our hand, maybe holding them there, and we're still waiting to appreciate a cranial rhythm impulse. But we remember those things. In addition to the rapid way that the time has gone, we've also been presented with, and we have amassed incredible amounts of knowledge over the past 4 years. We've easily forgotten more enzymes and biochemical pathways than most people ever care to know, and we ever care to know. For 2 years, we did that together. We worked together, cooperating, trying to help each other out to build a strong foundation of knowledge and understanding. And then for the last 2 years, we've kind of set out on our own ways, and we've trained independently, very difficultly and rigorously, so that we can develop the application of the knowledge we have into the practice of caring for people. Also, over that course of that 4 years, as Nathan's already alluded to, we've shared countless experiences together. We've celebrated accomplishments with one another. We've celebrated engagements, weddings, births. We've also endured numerous hardships together. We've suffered through boards. We've suffered through broken relationships, and we've even mourned the passing of families, friends, and even a classmate. All of these experiences, whether the good, the bad, the expected, and the unexpected, they are what they are, and they have shaped us into both the class and the individuals that we are today. And our courses have taken us in different directions, and we have had different experiences over these last 4 years. But today, we can stand together as one, as a select few who have been counted worthy and adequately equipped to continue in our development as physicians. In the next few weeks, as we move from this day and the events of today fade just a little bit, we'll start our residencies, and lives will change. Our roles will be totally revamped. Our responsibilities will be greatly increased. Now real fates will lie largely in our hands, and that's a daunting task. But let me encourage each of us that we have been well equipped. We are ready for the task at hand. The knowledge that we have gained while here at KCUMB will serve us each well. But let me also remind us each that that knowledge is not enough. My kids treat me recently to a long trip we made. They borrowed a DVD of Schoolhouse Rock. They're 9 and 6, and then a baby. He doesn't watch much. But the two bigger boys, they watch Schoolhouse Rock, so I got to kind of go flashback and have lots of memories. At the beginning or end of each song, there was the little quip. As the body grows bigger, the mind grows flowered. It's great to learn because knowledge is power. Where there is a lot of truth to the fact that knowledge is important, I want to interject and say that knowledge is just that. It is knowledge. It is factual. It is cold. It is impersonal. It seeks to answer the question of right versus wrong. And I want to say that rather than knowledge being power for us today, that wisdom instead is power. And wisdom is the application of that knowledge in unique and real settings. As such, it is dynamic, it is ever-changing, it is intimately personal and thoughtful, and it is difficult. Instead of answering just the right and the wrong, it seeks to answer the difficult question of good versus the best. And so I want to encourage us today to let wisdom be our guide. Proverbs 9, verse 10 states that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. That means for us to be wise physicians, we have to know accurately and rightly who we are and who we aren't. We have certainly been trained with amazing gifts and abilities to perform great works on people's lives. But we also need to remember that we are not in control of life's forces. We are only influencers in the forces of life. We are not the healers, but we are the agents in the healing process, or we are agents in the healing process. The day will come when each of us stands beside a patient's bed or over an operating table, and we'll reflect back over the choices we made in that patient's care. And when we look back, everything will be by the book. Nevertheless, the patient will pass. Wisdom comes in as a quick and welcomed reminder to say that it is not in our control to preserve and to keep life, but only to take care of life the best that we can. It also reminds us that death is a natural part of the process of life. And it reminds us that our goal ultimately is not to prolong life as long as we can, but to help patients to live healthy and to be well and to experience fullness and satisfaction in every phase of their lives. Wisdom is necessary in this endeavor, as sometimes we'll have to make difficult decisions, whether we choose an aggressive course of action in a patient's life, or we choose to allow patients to spend their passing days in comfort and in dignity. Not only in our abilities and the limits of our abilities, wisdom is important in the way that we handle patients. We've been taught over and over and over that patients are not numbers, they're not values, they're not charts, but they are people. And it is wise for us to remember that fact, that each patient that we deal with is a person who has a family and has ones who love them and have responsibilities. And so it's wise for us to remember that. It's also wise for us to remember that, that there's a lot that we can learn from our patients. As we walk into most rooms, we will know more than the patients. We will know more than the nursing and the staff that we have. And it's easy, and it will be easy to fail to listen in those settings, to think that we know everything. And I want to encourage you, though, that the wise physician not only welcomes the opportunity to listen to his patients and to learn, but actually embraces that opportunity at every occasion. And so I encourage you, in your dealing with patients, that you will listen and learn from them. And finally, as we look and as patients look to us in the future and our world pats us on the back and tells us how great and wonderful we are and the great things we know and the great things we've done, the wise physician realized that we are able to know and do the things that we do today because we stand on the shoulders of giants who have gone before us. And for that, we thank you as our faculty who have thanklessly put in time and effort to teach us and to lead us and give us that knowledge that we can take out and use. We also stand on the shoulders of giants of one another, that we've helped each other. And then also our families and our friends who have made countless and innumerable sacrifices to help us to get to where we are today. So I want to encourage you to remember those things. In the book of James, James writes that if any of you lacks wisdom, to ask God who gives graciously. And so as we depart from here in this graduation ceremony in the days ahead, I just want to encourage you to be wise physicians and to let wisdom be your guide.
Give me eyes to Let me speak the words of comfort and strength. Fill me with compassion and wisdom true. And when I lay weary, fill me with strength anew. So in your footsteps I walk, with your love always, to do your blessed word and praise you day by day. Give me eyes to see. Give me hands to hear. Give me eyes to see. Give me hands to hear. Give me hands.
Good afternoon. Dr. Clark, well said. Well said. Congratulations to the class of 2010. It's got a nice ring. You are never going to forget these next few days. You will never forget May 15th, the date that you graduate. This is that time where you're to share and to be happy, to celebrate with your families and your friends. This is that time for joy, for happiness, that you can spend quality time with your classmates, share this with your faculty as these 4 years are winding down. It's time for the university's faculty and the Board of Trustees to recognize you for your accomplishments and to honor you with the prestigious degree of Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine. I'm very proud to be a member of this profession, and it will be my honor in 2 days to call you doctor, to call you our colleague, and to welcome you into this osteopathic family. My comments today will be very brief. I feel very privileged to be a member of this university's faculty. Our faculty is a distinguished group of educators, researchers, and clinicians. And we're all able to come together to share with respect to our cultures and to our faiths. This faculty wants to share their knowledge with you, and this faculty has a talent in teaching. This faculty over the years has served many roles for you. They've served as mentors, as advisors, certainly as teachers, but they've also served as your friend. This faculty will come together and will share with you in this baccalaureate service as you've completed your academic curriculum here at KCUMB College of Osteopathic Medicine. As you look over these past 4 years, you've been trained by the best. You've been trained in clinical sciences, in the basic sciences. You've developed your fundamentals and your skills. And you need those skills and take them forward to build that basic foundation upon which you're going to build further layers in medicine. This is the basic foundation. Dr. Clark hit on it. You've learned the basics. You're ready to graduate. Now, some of you are going to graduate with special recognition and high honors. Some of you will have high class ranks. Some of you have done extremely well on the boards. And you certainly deserve to be recognized for those honors because you've earned them. You're on top right now. I'll let that pause just for a second. You read the cue card. In the next couple of weeks, you're going to start all over. And you're starting your internship or your residency programs. I ask that you remember this, that you're beginning a training program. Dr. Clark has already hit upon part of it. You are there to listen, and you're there to learn. Now you're ready to start postdoctoral training. In that first week, it consists of some form of orientation. And it's fairly a welcoming group. You'll be meeting a variety of different directors of various departments throughout the hospitals, CEOs, nurses, and you'll meet a variety of different medical staff, attending physicians. But most important, you'll be meeting your senior house officers. These are the people that you're going to be turning to ask for assistance. After the orientation is over, you're going to begin your specialty clinical rotations. And there will be a host of different attending physicians that are going to have demands on you that are relatively specific for their area of specialty. My comment as I quote from the Bible, is for this class. This is from Luke chapter 12, verse 48. When someone has been given much, much will be required in return. And when someone has been entrusted with much, even more is required. When your attending physician asks you a question and you don't know the answer, it's all right to say, I don't know that answer, but I will know that answer tomorrow. That's what they're looking for. They want residents that have honesty in their answers. They want residents that are dependable, and they want residents who have integrity. They want residents to do the right thing. Your attending physicians want to see if they can trust you. With this trust that you earn, you'll be given more responsibility and more privileges. The medical staff wants you as house officers to see if you have a commitment to your job, to a commitment to medicine. Throughout that process, they expect you to maintain a good attitude and equally a strong work ethic. You want to be known as that house officer who's there first in the morning, ready to take care of that new patient, and also willing to take care of that late evening admission. They want to see house officers who place quality of care first in rendering medical care to their patients. They're not going to be going back to your transcript to look at your grade point average or your class rank when you were in medical school. They recognize you as people who have these qualities, these intangible qualities of integrity, dependability, and honesty. With those qualities, that makes you first class. You're going to be asked to go evaluate patients. You never shortcut a patient's evaluation. Don't learn the tricks of the trade. Your job is to learn the trade and learn it well. You want to do a thorough, complete, and competent assessment, something that you're going to be proud of when you put your name to that paper and your initials afterward. When that attending physician rounds and reads your evaluation, they're going to know what kind of work you do because of the quality that you have within reflected in your evaluation. You need to know that your program director or your DME has chosen you to train in their hospital because they know that you have those qualities within you that make you what you are. You have salt in your character. Prove them right. Along with this, you know that you're coming from a medical school that has a history and a heritage of 94 years in training osteopathic physicians. Part of your training is going to consist of more didactic conferences, lectures, and presentations. You're going to have to do some clerical work as well, because your program director and your DME is going to ask you to keep a log of your clinical encounters, your hospital visits, your procedures, and you've got to keep track of your work hours. Has to be done. And during that process, your aim is to balance your time between the clinical service and the education that you're going to spend when you get home in studying. In addition to that, some of you are blessed with a family. You're going to need to spend quality time with your family. Again, I remind you, you're at this training institution to listen and to learn. I'll quote from Proverbs chapter 19, verse 27. If you stop listening to instruction, you will turn your back on knowledge. From chapter 12, verse 1. To learn, you must have discipline. All of you have the ability. You have proven that. And if you want to be taught, there's no limit to what you can learn. This includes being willing to accept discipline, to accept correction, and to learn from those who have wisdom, who have preceded you. A person who refuses to accept constructive criticism probably has a problem with an ego and pride. Learning at your level is going to take on a whole new dimension. You're going to be energetic. You're going to be excited. You're going to be hungry for more knowledge. Knowledge and information are just exploding now. This is a great discovery. You're going to feel more comfortable as you move through your training process because you're applying that knowledge. And then you'll see that you've definitely made the right decision to pursue this career. Now, sometimes it's not always going to be the way you want it to be, and it may not work out the way you have planned. There will be problems. You will make mistakes. You will make errors, and there will be complications. You're going to encounter clinical scenarios when you did everything right by the book. But unfortunately, adverse reactions can happen, complications can occur, and perhaps even unexpected deaths can occur on your watch. You need to remember and ask yourself at that time, why did I go into this training program? And the answer is, you're in this training program to learn from your mistakes, if you made that mistake, and to be a better physician in the future to avoid those circumstances down the road. It's going to be during those difficult times, Perhaps when there's darkness in your career, perhaps when there's loneliness, that you're going to need to turn to your faith. You're going to need to turn to your God and for guidance. We've all been there, and it happens. You know, faith and medicine are a lot alike. Medicine takes practice in order to become a skilled clinician. Just as your faith needs to be practiced to keep your relationship with your God. Instead of using your God and your faith as that spare tire in the back of the trunk, use God as that steering wheel to guide you through those difficult circumstances, through those difficult conflicts, and those difficult challenges. In closing, I will tell you what my dad told me, and he said, just do the best that you can. Be honest in working with other people. Be honest with yourself. Know your limitations. Cherish your family and cherish this profession. My wife found this quote from an unknown author, and I will quote, "People will forget what you said. People will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." I know that I can speak on behalf of our faculty in wishing you the very best of success as you enter into your postdoctoral training. To the class of 2010, I say I'm very thankful for this privilege, and again, congratulations.
I'd like to close with the prayer for doctors. Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you with praise and adoration for bringing us to this day of celebration. You alone have chosen these individuals in your divine wisdom and mercy to study and practice the heart of healing, to commit themselves to the prevention of disease, and to watch over the life and the death of those created in your image. As we move forward, God, teach us to love, honor, and care for those who come to us for healing and comfort. Putting aside our selfish interests, give us mercy to care for the lonely, the poor, the suffering, and the dying. Help us to be good stewards of our skills and society's resources in caring for all patients, rejecting those interventions which serve to end the lives of the unborn and the terminally ill. Guide us as we continue to increase our knowledge and skills and continue to permeate our souls with gentleness, kindness, and patience. May we remain faithful to you in the midst of the journey that lies ahead, so that we may be a blessing to our patients, our families, and our communities. Amen.